Hey, it's Mark Ferguson with Investor More, and I'm standing outside a property I bought a little over a year ago, and this is one I had grand plans for, and pretty much all of them completely fell apart. So we'll talk about what happened there. It is that building and that house that I bought together last year in one deal. I did a 1031 exchange, had sold one of my single family rentals, bought this whole property, and really my plan was to keep the house, keep some of the upstairs apartment and another apartment on the side, and convert the rest of it to apartments. It used to be a church, and none of that worked out. I'll talk about why, and then what my current plans are. It does look a lot better than it did before. We painted it, patched up quite a few of the cracks in the stucco, so looks a lot better. I still think it's a super neat property, but we're probably gonna sell it just because I could not do what I wanted to do with it, mostly due to the city, and that's happened in a few different instances. Of course, we love the likes, shares, comments, keep those coming. Love seeing new subscribers as well. And like I said, when I bought this space here was used as a church, and big open space. And then we can look in here. We've got this big common laundry area. That goes to an apartment that was a 2-bedroom apartment when I bought it, was rented, and we ended up remodeling it and renting it. I think it's for $1,100, if I remember correctly. And then we also had an apartment upstairs that was a 1-bedroom apartment, and I'm not sure if they're using that attic space, but there's a big attic space in there with a bunch of old stuff. But that apartment upstairs, I think we rented for, was it $1,100 as well? In that range. And then the house next door was rented for $1,200 when I bought it. It's still rented for $1,200 to the same people there as well. So the property actually breaks even, doesn't lose me money right now, even with this big vacant space. And my plan was to turn this into 2 more apartments. And I had an architect come draw up plans. Went to multiple meetings with the city, talked to the city for months and months and months, and everything seemed feasible, doable. We were not making any structural changes, going to keep this kitchen here, add a kitchen back over here, add a bathroom kind of in the middle, maybe have to add some windows. We're going to have 2 2-bedroom apartments. I thought it was going to be pretty cool, and with those apartments, you could probably charge $1,300 a month or more in rent. You could add $400,000 in value to the property pretty easily. So it would have been pretty cool to do all that. And I think I paid $515 for this one, if I remember correctly. It was a good deal. But the big snafu when all this was happening was I was getting ready to do my site plan, talk to the city. I have many videos on this. It was just crazy trying to get them to respond to me. Literally, it would take them 3 weeks to a month to respond to emails, respond to calls, and just getting any information was just ridiculous. And eventually, we got to the point where we figured out they would want me to spend about $250,000 in soft costs before we started any remodel work at all, which included 2 new shares of water, which are at the time 50-some thousand, now, or maybe 55,000. Now they're like $70,000 a piece if you can find them. You can't even find those shares of water right now. They want everything brought up to fire code, the exterior walls, all of that. They wanted a fire system, sprinkler system put on the inside. They wanted us to pave the alley, this alley, and probably the one behind it as well. All of this on our own cost. And it was just ridiculous, all the different stuff they wanted us to do just to get approval to add these 2 apartments. And this building used to be, a long time ago, a car dealership. I have a picture of that from 100 years ago. It's really cool, actually. And then at some point, we're sure it's been a lot of different apartments because there are 5 or 6 different electric meters on the outside of this building. But that did not matter to the city. They wanted us to do all of those things and of course have it all drawn up by an architect, have an engineer come in for everything and stamp all of that too, which is just an insane amount of money and time. And so in the end, I decided it was not worth it to pursue that project. I guess I could rent this to a church if I really wanted to. That's not always easy to find, and they're not always the highest paying tenants either. And at one point I said it could be an event center, and which I still think it could be an amazing event center, because according to the uses, I think it still can be an event center without going through the craziness the city requires, because they're saying if you change it to a business besides church, communal center, or something like that, you have to go through that same site plan requirement where you're paving the alleys and doing all this stuff, just crazy stuff. So I thought about running an event center, and I mean, in the back of my mind, I knew I wasn't going to run an event center. I don't have time for that. I have enough other businesses with the flipping, the liquor store, the mini mart, our rental properties, the brokerage, all that stuff going on, my online stuff. But I still think it could be a really good event center. Someone could buy it, have some income coming in from multiple apartments and a house, and that would be pretty cool. So the plan now is to sell it. I just took some pictures of it. So we just have to decide a price, what we'll do there. The tricky thing is I used a 1031 exchange to buy it, which means I took the profits from another property, put them into this property so I don't have to pay capital gains tax. Well, it's not just the profits, but it's also depreciation that you put into this deal. So if I did sell this and didn't do a 1031 exchange, I would have a very hefty tax bill for the previous property I sold, recapturing all the depreciation and capital gains, and I would have to also recapture some depreciation from this one because I've had it for over a year, and capital gains money I made on this one as well. So it still could be worth it, not even doing a 1031 exchange, just selling it. But I could also find another property to possibly 1031 exchange this into as well. So there's some different options there. But in general, I really like this building. I like the property. Just could not mesh with the city on getting the project put together. And speaking on that note, I actually looked at this property that's right across from us right there. Big old property. You can see they're working on it too. And I know they had to go through a site plan process as well. At least the city told me they did, because it was vacant for many, many years. It was really rough shape, and just a pretty spooky, weird old building. But they said, oh yeah, they would be required to pave the alley as well. Well, certainly does not look like the alley's paved yet, and they are working on it. So if their site plan was approved and all that done so they could work on it, I find that kind of interesting that the alley isn't done yet. I'm 90, yeah, that is not paved. So anyway, we've seen that before with cities as well. All right, so that's the plan for now. Get this one listed, put on the market. I'm not sure what price to put it on right now, but I think it'll definitely be worth quite a bit more than I paid for it. Someone who wants to run an event center, maybe someone who wants a church, again, hey, might be a really cool property for them, work really well. So that's the plan. We'll see how that goes. See how fast it sells too, and go from there. All right, thanks for watching. Love the comments, love the likes, love seeing new subscribers. We'll have an update on this property too if it does sell or anything happens with it, and let everyone know. All right, take care.